Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. It is the Aloha Hour. I am your host, Mike S. Miller. You are on Blacklist Universe. And with me, we were wondering where he's been. Although, actually, he has been. Uh-oh, I better mute that. I am a boomer. You are on Blacklist Universe. Forgive my boomedness.
That's some good booming. That's some good booming.
The affable, the effervescent, the illuminating Edwin Boyette.
Aloha, as always. It is wonderful to be here. I was telling Mike before we came on, I've been watching David Carradine in Kung Fu, so I told him to watch himself. I'm just picking up the deadly stuff. I'm not picking up the whole peaceful mess.
Grasshopper. Man, I totally forgot. John Malin was asking me yesterday, like, about all the shows that I watched when I was a kid. I totally blanked on Kung Fu.
Yeah. Oh, you know, it's ridiculous watching it now.
Yeah.
Right? It's ridiculous. But I'm looking at some of these people and I'm thinking, like, I bet you some of these people are from Hawaii. I bet you they just, because some of them just look straight up like Hawaiian kids. Yeah. But, you know, it's still entertaining, even though it's ridiculous. And maybe some of that is nostalgia, but it's still fun.
It would have been great if Bruce Lee had actually played that part.
Oh, that would have been interesting.
You know, he was supposed to, right? That was his idea.
Really? It was his idea? I did not know that.
Yeah. You ever watched Dragon? The Bruce Lee story?
I have for that. How come that didn't come through? Is that right when he died? Is that why he didn't?
He too Asian to play Asian in Hollywood at that time.
We like our... This is America. We like our Asians to be white.
Right. Get that yellow Asian out of here. Bring in David Carradine. He looks a little squinty.
But one thing I picked up, though, every time there's getting ready to be some action, his eyes go up in the side of his head and he has a flashback. That's when I'd take David Carradine out, right when he's having that flashback. Right in the suckhole.
Quick, he's thinking back to China.
Now, attack.
Hey, at least his master was actually Chinese or some brand of Oriental.
Yeah, though I think one of the Shaolin guys he wound up fighting looked probably a little bit more Japanese than he looked Chinese. But, you know, it was the 70s, you know, Asians and Asian, right?
Most people still can't tell us apart.
Well, you can, though. Like, you look at Koreans, they got the back of the head is kind of flat. Yeah.
Right, okay. Dennis Pruch says, Kyung is in the house. His campaign fits this conversation.
Nice.
Kung Fu.
Before we can promote your comic book, Grasshopper.
Grab this. Something. I have nothing.
Yeah.
Grab nothing out of my hand.
You must snatch the super chat from Mike Miller's hand, which, as we know, is impossible.
That is correct. Correct. How's everybody in the chat doing? Everybody having a good day? We only have 52 viewers right now. Viewership has been on the downswing past week. I blame you, Edwin.
Well, right now, everybody and their brother has been streaming. Like I'm looking online right now, and let's see. EVS had a stream. I was streaming with Tug before EVS and them started. Somebody else was streaming. War Campaign streamed. It looks like how do you say the lawyer's name? Ricotta Law. Yeah, he's streaming. So like the number of people that are doing shows has just gone up exponentially.
Yeah, splitting the pie.
Well, we need to bring in.
We got to grow the pie.
Yeah, got to grow the pie. And speaking of growing, Speaking of growing, from Hugh Jass, and that is Hugh Jass. J.K. Rowling announced Daenerys Targaryen has Crohn's. What? Like Crohn's disease?
Crohn's disease.
What? What?
J.K.
J.K. Rowling.
Wheeler. Were you here? Were you watching the other night when I was bullying Nasser into eating butter?
No, did he eat butter?
No, he wouldn't. Okay, so it started out as I was trying to get him to 1,000, right? And he was at 918 or something like that, right?
Okay.
And so I'm like, dude, if we can get you to 1,000, will you eat a stick of butter? You know, because I had enough people I had like 300 people watching. So I'm like, we only need like 80 of these people to go over and join, you know, sub to you. Will you eat a stick of butter? He's like, no, that's gross. I'm like, will you eat a bite? Just take a bite out of a stick of butter. He's like, no. I'm like, dude. For
Nasser.
Yeah. And so I'm like,
Sauce is
okay,
weak,
if Nasser
Nasser.
doesn't eat the butter, everyone should unsub from him. So he lost like 45 subs.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So now this guy over here put Nasser's smelly stick of butter as his name.
Well, we get like we get this stuff called Kerrygold butter.
Oh yeah.
I'm hearing myself.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, and you can eat that stuff almost like cheese. I will occasionally even put it in my coffee. And so Kerrygold butter is not cheap, but man, it is pure Irish butter, just like my voice. Grass-fed, which I'm not. I don't know. Well, yeah. I will eat some freaking butter on stream because I'm not full of weak sauce.
Mortal V. Mike, did you see that I was bullying Nasser? Edwin, be more specific, as opposed to Mike. When I wanted Nasser to recreate that scene in Last Tango in Paris. Edwin is now the degenerate.
I'm licking the butter. Nasser, you're a wuss.
Everyone sub to Edwin who hasn't already. He ate the butter. Good man, Edwin.
I licked it first too.
Better not be porn. That's all I'm saying.
For a low donation, I will come to your house and lick on the butter in your fridge. But Kerrygold, it's so rich. It's so rich.
It's fantastic butter, and we get it here at our bargain market, which is like the wholesale grocery store. Darn it! Did I close this flipping window? I did. Hey guys in the chat, could you make sure you hit that like button and maybe even go out and share the link and get some more folks in here? We've only got 83 people watching. It's the Aloha Hour. Where's my people?
Let me look at my people. And I even washed my hands twice before I came into the stream. We're not rolling like Doug in here. We like the hygiene.
That's right.
Let's see. Streaming with Captain Geach. Streaming with Abacus Mike. I ate the butter because I'm not a wussy like Nasser. There we go. I love it. Yeah, have you actually seen Kyung Lee's speaking of Asian pride, have you seen Kyung Lee's book?
Yes, it's very cool. I like it. Very much.
Yeah. I think he is our first example of American manga, I think, in Comicsgate. I think he has that claim.
Well, I think there's 40 something titles, and I haven't seen all of them. If you've seen more than that, then he's certainly the first one to get notoriety. So
Yeah,
yeah, it looks great. It looks like really solid stuff. I congratulate
yeah.
him.
It looks fun and very consistent. It is very good for a. Kyung Lee, is this your freshman effort? Have you ever published professionally before? That'd be interesting knowing that. It's a good word tonight. While I'm on IndieCron, let me look at loans. Wow, so close to 100,000.
97. 97.
Yeah.
Ticking up. Tick, 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 tick.
All right. Have you got some stuff set up for us to read tomorrow? To take a look at some new stuff.
I'm up to page 39 in the script. So
oh well.
Yeah, I mean, I could send you what I've got if you want to read through it. It's not very well organized because I went from plot to dialogue, and so I just kind of
you
can read it, but you probably want to look at the pages while you're reading it, or not.
Let's see. From Nasser's smelly stick of butter for $5. Yes, that was pure gold. This is instant better and awesome sauce. EDWIN greater than Nasser. Hashtag wash hands. Hashtag Buttergate 2018.
We're talking butter tonight, baby. I wish I could do Marlon Brando. I was sitting there trying to think of all the different like voices that I can do, and thinking about doing like recasting scenes in shows with like say like you did Arnold Schwarzenegger on somebody, you know, and then I did the Arnold Schwarzenegger voice, like the voiceover of what the character's actually saying. It would just it'd be fun. It's stuff that would get clicks. It would have nothing to do with my channel other than the fact that I occasionally do voices. But someone was commenting because I did a real quick video this morning on Game of Thrones stuff, and I was reading in Tyrion Lannister's voice, and someone's like, "Man, that was really good, Tyrion."
Yeah, that is pretty good. That is pretty good.
He doesn't do a very good English accent, but
I don't think I can. I think probably Sell Me is probably about the only voice I can do from. If I went back and listened to the show, I might be able to do. Who was the elder Lannister?
Oh, Tywin.
Tywin. I might be able to do Tywin.
Yeah, I'd have to think about that. There's some voices that just like I can't do Ethan's. I can't do either his inflection or his particular tone, you know. And I'm like sitting there trying to find it in my range, and he's just hard, man. Ethan's voice is hard to get to.
It's that New Jersey Mormon combo.
Well, he's nasally, he's a little gravelly, and he's New Jersey Mormon.
Try eating a pat of butter first and see if that helps.
Smooth your voice out with that rich.
Yeah, see, look at me. Now my voice is like melted butter.
Soft and smooth. Creamy.
See, Nasser, if you weren't full of weak sauce and you had left some room for some butter, you could have a voice like this also. Chris Lee Comics says he can do an Ethan impression.
Oh, really? Nice. Yeah, Ethan's a tough one.
But does it involve nudity and pie, or can you imitate his voice?
Pete Max says I do a great Jack Black. Hey, yo.
My wife sometimes.
Your wife what?
My wife picked up on that too, even before you were like, yeah.
I could
How
do
is
that
the
disgusting.
how is the Game of Thrones stuff going? Or did
I have
did the
not been
order?
doing it. I've been so busy doing. It's I've been busy. So I tried to jump in and do a little quick 10-minute, and then I don't want to sit here and do stuff and then have to wait for my son to do all the production on it, because sometimes he gets too busy to work on it, and then I don't want to do like today's news and publish it 3 days from now. You know, it's just that's not good business.
When
Cue
does the
jazz, cue jazz, $2. NASA is appropriating Ethan's butter culture. The butter culture.
Dr. Fantastic says I could do Edwin, but mine's a little deep. All right. Edwin that's too deep. What does that sound like? Well speech?
I asked
Oh.
Kevin Grievous one time. You know Kevin? Do you know Kevin Grievous? Who he is?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, he's got like this deep voice, right? And I was like, hey, you know how I can like take my voice and I can go like this and make it deeper? So, yeah. I'm like, can you do that? And he's like, yeah. He wouldn't do it. I think he might crack the earth.
Oh man. All right, so just what have you got left? What have you got left to draw?
To draw?
To draw.
For what?
Lone Star. Totally done?
Yeah, I'm done. The first
everything's at the colors?
Everything's at the colorist, and I'm just doing the dialogue. My letterer said he could turn it around in 3 days.
Nice.
So, oh, you know what I do need to do? The card. I keep freaking pinging Tim Lim, but he won't send me the thing for the card. So I might have to just design my own card. I wanted it to match everybody else's, but and then he keeps saying that I'm not messaging him. So maybe I'm messaging the wrong. I have no idea. He's just not contacting me. So other than the card, everything's done. Did you see, Edwin? Did you see that?
Yeah, those came out good.
Right?
Those came out good.
In the hood. I got it hanging from my lamp. I'm going to hang it right here now.
Something looks different about the room. Has something changed? Has it been decluttered?
I have put my Lone Star banner up here to block half of the clutter that is my closet. Unfortunately, it's kind of glossy, so you can't read it real well. It just reflects whatever light is in the room. But
yeah.
Better than clutter. What I need is some of my fabric banners up here. But my fabric banners are 12, 13 feet high, so I'd have to hang them in Doug's house.
Oh man, you should make yourself. You should draw yourself some kind of banner for. If you're going to keep doing the Game of Thrones stuff, though, you should make yourself a banner for that.
I
kind of like the Order of the Green Hand people.
I have my Game of Thrones banner. It's retractable, so I can just plop it up right here, like if I'm doing the Night's Watch or something.
Yeah, the Order of the Green Hand people seem to be fun. Is this the last year of the TV show? Is this the last?
2019 will be.
2019. And
but then they're going to go into a prequel series.
Oh, interesting.
During the Targaryen reign. So that'll be cool.
I wonder if they will. How far back are they going to go?
I'm not sure what story they're going to be doing. Right. They should do the conquest of Westeros. That would be so awesome. Aegon the Conqueror coming over the Narrow Sea. That'd be rad.
How many years ago was that in the history? I don't have like a good timeline set in my mind. Is that like a millennia ago or?
Boy, that's a really good question. I want to say like 400 years, but I might be misremembering something. Someone in the chat will know.
I just Just today, when I was goofing around, I watched the sword fight scene again at the Tower of Joy.
Nice. It's not going to be the Conquest. I know it's not going to be the Conquest. I just think it would be rad to do the Conquest.
It'd be so rad, dude.
Yeah.
Rad.
So
rad.
We are children of the 80s. We say rad. We don't say tubular anymore, though.
No, I don't remember the last time I heard. Maybe if I was watching some 80s movie is the last time I remember hearing tubular.
Yeah. That died on the vine pretty quick.
But I was
also
in the South, tubular never got picked up. Like nobody in the South in North Carolina was saying tubular.
Yeah, I was in California, man. Some people said it.
Yeah.
Gnarly, we said. For sure.
Gnarly. Yeah, we had gnarly.
Man.
We had gnarly.
Totally for sure.
We definitely had rad. Do you remember the movie Rad?
Rad, yes. Do you remember Gleaming the Cube?
Yeah, yeah. What about Lost Boys?
Metal skateboard. It was quite entertaining.
What about Lost Boys? Do you remember Lost Boys?
Of course. Classic.
Yeah.
Classic.
The 80s were actually not that bad. I mean, you look back now,
rad.
some of the stuff looks good. Yeah, the 80s were awesome. Oh, The Last Starfighter. Do you remember The Last Starfighter?
Yep. Yeah, they just trying to remember. They essentially just made that into like another movie. I'm trying to remember what it was.
Oh, they kind of repurposed it.
I think so. Unless I'm just making things up in my brains. I tend to do
that. Classy to me says, I own The Last Starfighter on DVD. I would be more impressed if you owned it on Laserdisc. Do you remember those Laserdiscs?
Dude, Star Wars on Laserdisc was like the best way you could see Star Wars because they wouldn't put it on was it DVD or Blu-ray? They wouldn't. Oh no, they wouldn't do the originals. So right. If you had the original Laserdisc, it was like the best way you could see the originals for like, I mean, probably still to this day because they still won't re-release the original cuts.
Oh, that's right. It's all been adulterated.
Yeah, that or VHS, and VHS is crap. I still have my VHS Star Wars.
Yeah, yeah. You go back and look now, and you really realize how poor VHS quality was.
Yeah,
we didn't know any better.
My wedding tape is on VHS, and I'm like,
You haven't transferred it to anything.
I have not yet transferred it. I know. I even bought the little thing to do the transferring, and I'm so busy, man. I need like a month where I don't have to do anything. I need to be John Malin. He's just sitting on a mattress full of cash.
A mattress full of tacos.
Cash and tacos. That's Malin's life.
Cash and tacos. It's the Malin lifestyle.
Take a walk, Malin. Get some exercise. Jeez.
Let's see. Oh, that's cool. Sketch had Terminator 1 and 2 and Alien 1 and 2 on Laserdisc.
I must be an anomaly because I'm like the only person I know who thinks that Terminator 1 is a better movie than Terminator 2.
Yeah, it was.
Thank you. Thank you, Edwin. I knew you'd agree with me. Someone had to.
Yo, Malin. Taco Bell. Yo, Malin. I never had any Betamax.
Yeah.
My wife did. But I do remember, man, I remember when we were renting movies and stuff, my parents had gotten divorced. So that was like a real treat to go down to Blockbuster, man. And
like $7.
Yeah, load up on some stuff.
So crazy.
Yeah, I watched all the Miyamoto Musashi movies on I think that was Toshiro
Mhm.
Mifune. Yeah, where he was playing that. That was so well done. I mean, it was all subtitled and stuff. But like I'm in the middle of small town rural North Carolina and watching these stories about like this Japanese legend. I had heard of the Go No Shorin, the Book of Five Rings,
Mhm.
and all this. And at the time, like Japanese culture was like getting big in the United States. I think a couple of my friends were going down to Fayetteville, where Fort Bragg is, and there was like a ninjutsu instructor there, and so people were all crazy about this. But yeah, it was awesome, and it was before we really had the internet. Like I don't know if you remember, like the old message boards where you could dial up, where like you would put your phone in like the cradle and you would
Yeah,
dial up.
yeah. My
You'd,
dad
you'd
was.
log onto somebody's, yeah.
Yeah, it was CNET or uh, dude. My dad was like one of the earliest guys in the computer industry. He was like right out of Vietnam. He went to work for IBM. Um, they wanted him to be. I think I told you about this, right? Yeah, they wanted him to be the West Coast regional director of
Oh no,
IBM,
you didn't tell me that.
and then
You
he
didn't.
was like, "I'll never see my kids." So his boss, which probably a VP or president of IBM, was like, "You either take this job or you're never working for IBM again." And so he ended up
Wow.
going and working at Burroughs. So never worked for IBM again. I wish he had held on to the stock. Just hold on to the stock,
Oh,
man. It was the 60s.
Dad.
Could have had stock from IBM.
Damn.
But he was a guy who would cash into stock options right away to pay down his house. That was his thing. And I'm like,
You could be living a life of leisure now. You
oh
and your
my
wife could
goodness.
be sitting somewhere and sipping wine that didn't come out of a box, laughing
Yeah.
about the poors. You're all so poor, and I'm not.
Yeah, he worked at Sun Microsystems in the 90s. He was one of the guys that designed the workstations that they made Toy Story
Oh,
on.
cool. Oh,
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
He could have gone to see Toy Story before it came out. And he's like, kids movie. That was my dad. He didn't care.
That's funny. That's
Yeah.
funny. It's funny hindsight. Like if I could go back in time, I'd tell my parents that yeah, buy some of that Apple stock. It's going to work out.
Yeah.
Or even Microsoft.
My mom remembers him saying that he had some Apple stock from probably the 90s. But we have no idea. That would be great. Even if he had $100 worth of Apple stock from the 90s,
For the 90s, probably be worth 100,000 or so, wouldn't it?
at least, yeah.
Did it
My
increase that
buddy,
much? Because it split
the 90s,
split a
yeah.
couple times. Yeah.
My friend bought $3,000 worth of Amazon stock 16 years ago when it was a buck a pop.
Oh wow.
1,000 of it he bought for his son. So his son's a millionaire.
Wow.
He's 60 years old.
Well,
Happy birthday.
money's money is not everything. And beyond a point, I think the research shows that beyond a point, there is absolutely a diminishing amount of returns for like the happiness that money will bring you. Right?
Money
It's
doesn't
just,
buy happiness. Money buys ease and a whole different set of problems.
yeah, it sure does. It sure
Yeah.
does. And then
I
people
think
get caught up with those particular, yeah.
I think people without money have easier problems?
Different. There's kind of there's like these weird in between states where like you're not you don't make enough or you don't make too little to get ahead, where you just kind of get stuck stuck
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the hamster wheel. Yeah. But I think most people want security, but beyond a certain point, and it's not like necessarily even that a lot of wealthy people are particularly even happy. Like you think, what's his face, the kid who runs Facebook,
Oh yeah,
Zucker-
Zuckerberg.
he doesn't look particularly happy, and his life has to be micromanaged to within probably like a minute. Yeah,
Yeah,
just because of all.
there was this ridiculously wealthy YouTuber here in San Diego who just drove his McLaren into traffic, into oncoming traffic, like a month or two ago, and killed not only himself but a mother and their kid. Just, I actually got stuck in that traffic. But I mean, when you're 18 years old and you've made enough money that you can buy a McLaren $500,000 car, you're making that kind of money and you're still not happy, then something's, obviously money doesn't solve the happiness equation.
No.
Someone, James S, says money makes him very happy. So
Well, I think what happens is a lot of people get decoupled. What I mean is, you think, yeah, it would be nice to have a whole pile of money, and it might be, but it wouldn't necessarily be nice to do the work or perhaps to make the moral sacrifices to get a whole pile of money. A lot of people, I mean, like Bezos, for instance, he's a little bit sociopathic, right?
I have
I
a
mean,
picture of Jesus on my wall.
in order for him to have his big old pile of money, there are people who are working like human drones in those warehouses, right? And some of them are getting a raise, but in order for us to enjoy all this convenience that Amazon offers, there's a lot of human beings that are essentially being managed by algorithms and have to do X amount of repetitions of some task.
Yeah, I've seen how they run those warehouses. It's
Yeah,
it's actually incredibly impressive. Have you watched
it's
videos? I mean, just the fact that they can take those millions of orders every day and find where all that stuff is, and it's all computerized. Um, it's impressive.
well, now I think a lot of as their robotic technology improves, probably what will happen is a lot of humans, a lot of humans will lose their jobs, right? A lot of that stuff will be completely
Well, I don't know.
roboticized.
I think those jobs get moved over. I mean, like you can't run a company like Amazon without it being partially robotized. But you at the same time, with all the millions of different items that they stock, you can't.
Mhm.
That can't be that has to be like somebody going down an aisle and finding the exact item. I don't know. I mean, maybe someday they could robotize that, but
They're
they're
getting
all these.
close.
Well, what I'm saying is like down one particular aisle, they have all of these different packages of all different shapes, sizes, weights.
Um,
Like something is soft, something is hard, something. It's like, and you have to a human or a robot that's smarter than we've gotten to yet has to go and grab that particular item and then check it off on the list and take it to the box they throw it in to go get packaged and all that stuff.
yeah.
So I don't know. As technology evolves, the jobs evolve. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, Martin. Is it Martin? Milton Friedman used to say that well, when the jobs become robots, then the jobs will switch to people who have to fix the robots, right? Because you're not going to have this constant cycle of at some point human ingenuity has to be put into the system.
Yeah, but the amount that happens is less than you would think. Some stuff is a lot further along than you would actually think. But man, some of the stuff though is like I look at like these Chinese workers. Like you know what a Funko is, yeah?
Funko Pops.
Yeah, Funko Pops.
Yeah.
And so those are made in a region of China called Shenzhen, where a lot of Shenzhen, China, where a lot of a lot of retail goods are made. Like
Bucket Day workers.
very little. But some of these plants have like these huge dormitories where people are just kind of stacked. And even the cost of living is going up in China. So like a lot of the factory workers can't even afford to live in the towns where they live.
Oh yeah, they get trained in from like hundreds of miles away and just live in these little cubby holes for like 10 months out of the year. It's but that's the funny thing is they're going in to work these buck-a-day jobs because they can't make that much money at home on the farm. It's like, you can't survive on a buck-a-day in California. You can't survive on a buck-a-day in Indiana. But if you can survive and feed your family back home on a buck-a-day, it's just because the value of the dollar is so incredibly different here than it is there.
Yeah. Highest heights says Edwin didn't lose his job or anything, did he? No. We're talking about working conditions for people in different factories and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate. Yeah. I
think China's going through this weird restructuring where they saw the economic power of the free market in Hong Kong, right? Because Hong Kong was the freest market on the planet, essentially. And yeah, you had people, working these ditch digger, grovel on the floor jobs, but there was upward mobility in every sector of Hong Kong. So eventually you had people creating their own businesses, and it became this economic powerhouse. I mean, in the 50 years since Hong Kong was a third world country, it's now like one of the richest cities on the planet. And China saw this and realized that their whole communist model sucked. And so they did this weird. China's basically fascist, right? I mean,
I just saw someone scurry through the backside. I think Eden was just trying to scurry around somewhere. Like, was somebody breaking into Mike's home? No, that's a chillin'. It's just a little Miller kid.
Yeah. If you think about economic models like Germany, fascist Germany, fascist. Yeah, I just saw it now. The replay. Fascist Italy. It's a government control, but over private business. And I think that is more the model that China's running on today, because they're allowing for capitalist private business, but they still have this government control over it. Right?
Yeah.
But it is certainly working. So, case in point, fascism works better than communism.
Well, and not to open up any cans of worms, but part of the thing that allowed like the National Socialists to come to power in Germany was after World War One. Daddy, I need some money. Can I have some money, please, Daddy? Like a big old pile of money.
So we have a trash bag in front of the door, in front of the kitchen, because our trash can is full. And apparently 3 or 4 raccoons are out there. They're so cute. And they're just so cute, rummaging through our trash.
Oh, raccoons are the worst. They're not cute. They have diseases.
Come on, they're
All
full
right,
of
okay.
rabies.
When I was in the Army up in upstate New York, we'd go when you go out in the woods and train. Like this training area we trained at was just huge, and there was raccoons, there was bears, there was all kinds of wildlife. But man, a raccoon could like climb down a tree, and say you put your rucksack down and you were going an hour, you'd come back. Your rucksack would be your backpack as a rucksack would be opened up, and he would have pulled all your MREs out, like ate the good stuff, left the crappy stuff just to mess with you. They're smart, but they're overgrown rodents.
Yeah, they are. Come on. I'm gonna just go ahead and let them rummage through my trash because I don't want to go outside and shoo them away with the broom. And I don't. My trash can's full. I don't have anything to do with it. That's what happens. You forget 1 week to take the trash can down. It's like terrible when you live in a house with 7 people. Anyways,
it's a lot of. It seems like 8 is enough. It seems like a sitcom.
8 is enough to fill our house with love.
Are any of those people still alive, or did they all OD on black tar heroin?
I think something went bad with the kid, right? The little bullpen. I can't remember his name. Gosh, you're reminding me of these shows I haven't watched since I was a kid. Oh, did you see that they're doing a movie on Hervé Villechaize?
Oh, what?
The plane, boss, the plane.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's right. And it's going to be Dinklage, yeah?
Yeah, Peter Dinklage.
Somebody was giving him crap, was trying to give him crap and say, wait a minute, Dinklage is white and he's Filipino. And it turns out the guy wasn't Filipino at all. Dinklage was like, suck it. Oh, that's a gif I need. The image from the TV show where he slaps Joffrey.
Yeah.
I gotta find that image again. I wanted that the other. When Malin was talking smack, I wanted that image. I was going to post that.
Oh,
because Malin is on Team Joffrey, which it doesn't work out. Malin, spoilers.
Malin's the only one on Team Joffrey. I had a Joffrey because I did all the different covers, and I did a Joffrey cover. I used my son to be Joffrey, which is a terrible thing to do to my child. But all the years I was selling that, I sold 1 copy of that print. Nobody
really
Joffrey, except for that one broad in like Seattle or something. And Malin.
He's like the kid from the Harry Potter movies, the kid from Slytherin, Draco Malfoy.
Yeah.
Joffrey is Draco Malfoy.
Will I have to be in Slytherin?
No, if you have the Hopity Hope, you can be in Team. It was Team Slytherin and the Thundercats. Gryffindor, that's right, not the Thundercats.
Slytherin. Hufflepuff. I can do the hat.
You can do the hat.
Let's a little bit higher. Hufflepuff.
We can do that at a convention. We can charge people $20 a buck, and Mike Miller will sit on your head and tell you about Harry Potter. How you belong there.
No. This is the impersonation. Okay, people, give me something to impersonate. Suggest people for me to impersonate, and I'll see if I can do it.
Oh man, okay. Mr. T from the A-Team.
Oh, the only way you can say is, I don't know if I can get that deep. Oh, no, I can't do it. I can't get it. I can't. He's got a really deep voice, so I can't.
Superman in the most recent movie when he emerges, Superman when he emerges and he's confronting the Justice League, or when he's confronting Batman.
He doesn't say anything.
He does. He does.
He does?
Yeah. Do you bleed?
No, that's not from that movie. That was from Batman vs Superman.
No, it comes back around.
Oh, does it? Oh.
Yeah.
Mad Murdock.
Yeah.
White Schultz, Howling Mad Murdock.
Dun dun dun, Miller time.
Howling Mad Murdock. I wouldn't know what he was saying. That's been a while. I mean, pull stuff out in your.
He promptly escaped from a maximum security Benihana's facility. The M team.
Plan comes together. That's
And if you're on a budget and you need a help, but just a little, maybe you can hire the M team.
You know, he's a conservative, Dwight Schultz. He used to fill in, I think, for Dennis Miller when Dennis Miller had his show. He and Face Man. What's his name? From Battlestar Galactica?
Oh, yeah.
Kirk Benedict. They're both like hardcore conservatives.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I was surprised to learn that Battlestar Galactica cost $1 million an episode back then.
Yeah. Crazy, huh?
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, that used to be like a crazy expensive show. Nowadays, it's like every show. It's like, but that was 1984.
Sketch had a question. He said, Miller, did you get my tweet about Krakens in the Game of Thrones question?
I did.
Will they make an appearance?
I doubt it at this point. It hasn't been set up. But you never know. Yeah, Ray Thulu. I missed the Dennis Miller radio show too. That was and I stopped listening to it for a while, and then I went to go back to listen to it again, and it was just gone, like shadows in the wind.
Mumra. Somebody's asking for a Mumra.
78, but Battlestar Galactica, the movie, was 1984. So they ran the TV show from 78 till then, or till, what was it, like 3 years or 4 years?
Yeah,
and then they did.
It seems like Starbuck got stranded on a planet with a Cylon, and like they became friends or something.
I remember that.
Remember?
Yeah, that was like after the main series.
Yeah,
they did this little these like later shows, and then they did the one where Galactica went to Earth.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
I watched all those a few years ago when they were still on Netflix.
Did you ever watch a cartoon called Our Star Rangers?
Star
Rangers.
No, Star Blazers.
Oh, Star Blazers. That's right. When because that was kind of Battlestar Galactica.
To outer space to save the human race. We are Star Blazers. Yeah.
Star Blazers. That was that early 70s when Star Blazers came out? Or am I misremembering that?
Star Blazers would have been... No, it would have been early 70s. I mean, not for me. Maybe it was reruns, but I watched it in the late 70s, early 80s, I think.
Oh, Pixel Trader said Enemy Mine was a good movie. Yeah, and because they had the same thing. Seemed like Danny Glover.
I remember. I was working in a movie theater that year. And that was Louis Gossett Jr.?
Was it Louis Gossett Jr. or was it Danny Glover? You know, I think you might be right. I think it was Louis Gossett Jr.
And then who was the human?
Shoot, I don't know. Man, that's been so long. You can remember 80? Dude, that's already been 29 years. It's nuts.
Yeah. My 30-year reunion is next year. Star Blazers, Space Battleship Yamato. Yes. Dennis Quaid. Oh, that's right.
Dennis Quaid, young Dennis Quaid.
Human was played by Gary Coleman.
Gary Coleman. I remember Gary Coleman being on an episode of Buck Rogers. Do you remember Buck Rogers? Can you do Twiggy? Yeah. And Wilma Deering. Hey.
Oh, I met her. I met her at a con. Oh my gosh, this must have been in the 90s. She was still looking good back then, man. Erin, what was her last name? The chat'll know.
Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you're a kid.
Let's see. Starring Gil Gerard, Erin Gray. Yeah,
Erin Gray. That's the one.
Oh, Silver Spoons. She was also on Silver Spoons. That's right.
Oh yeah. She was she was the love interest of Ricky's father, and eventually they got together. But Derek, remember who Derek was?
Who's Derek?
Derek was Jason Bateman.
Oh, that's right. Wow.
He left the show, I think, maybe like towards the end or halfway through, something like that. But man, he was so great. He was the Eddie Haskell of that show.
Yeah.
He has such great chops. Yes, we remember Alf. Alf, you got me lint.
Oh, believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could feel so free. Flying away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be?
Believe it or not, it's just me. Eat the cat.
I had heard that they were going to redo that, but the greatest American hero was going to be a woman.
Oh, see, now if it was like his daughter and inherited the suit, that'd be cool. I'd be totally down with that. Scott Bakula. Oh my gosh, man, freaking Quantum Leap. That was such a great show.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I'm retarded. Ooh. He did the one leap into the kid who was cognitively challenged.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Do you remember Voyagers? This is just like the 80s flashback episode. Sorry if anyone who's not old enough to remember all this stuff. The Voyagers with the little black curly haired kid, and they would travel through time with the watch.
Oh, that's right.
Do you remember what happened to the lead guy?
I don't. I just barely remember.
He accidentally killed himself.
What?
He shot himself in the head with a blank, with a full charge blank.
Oh.
Of course, even a half charge blank would have killed him. But yeah.
Yeah, you never play around with.
Yeah, that's why Voyagers.
Never play around with blanks. Yeah, never play around with blanks.
That was such a great
even when we're in the military, man, a blank still has a lot of force. We would take. You get these cleaning kits for your M16, right? I guess it'd be an M4 now, but it has like these rods, right? that you can screw together. And so if we were out in the woods and we were training and something went down, you knew you could always just toss one of those rods in there and fire blank, man, and that would push that rod, that would kill somebody.
Well, that's how
Jason Lee?
Jason Lee died.
Yeah.
Wait, was it Jason Lee? No.
Was that his name?
Kid was
from The Crow, yeah?
Jason Lee was the guy who played Bruce Lee in Dragon.
Brandon Lee.
Brandon Lee. Yeah, yeah. So they figured out that there was, because they would make fake bullets which had the firing pins already fired off in them, and then they would have blanks which would have, you know, partial loads, quarter load or half load. And so what they figured out happened was they had a fake load, which, you know, that's what they use on the, so it looks like you're loading bullets into a gun. So they had a fake load that had a blank or that had a firing pin that hadn't been pre-fired. So the firing pin went off and it was enough to get the bullet into the barrel, right? And then they loaded it with blanks. And the guy was just shooting blanks, but there was already a bullet in the barrel, and he shot like a half load blank, and it was enough for that bullet to come. That's why you'll notice in movies they never point guns they're gonna shoot directly at people, and it looks a little weird when you look at it in movies because you can tell they're not actually pointing it. But ever since The Crow, that's it's like a rule, I guess, in Hollywood. You don't point guns directly at the people in case there's a mistake like that.
It makes sense, I guess. I guess it can make stuff look weird.
Just a little bit, especially if you're like really close and you're like.
I might fall from a tall building or Tarzan from a vine.
A brand new car.
Because I'm the unknown stunt man who made the Eastwood look so fine. The Fall Guy.
Yep. Well, I ain't the kind of kiss and tell, but I've been seen with Farrah. I die for a living in the movies and TV. Dude, I watch so much TV. I know all the freaking theme songs. Well, the hardest thing I ever done was watch my leading lady kiss somebody else while I'm bandaging my knee. That's your
What else was I was looking for? Yeah. And the world never seems to be living up to your dreams. It's time you started finding out what everything is all about. When the boys you used to hate, I guess you best investigate the facts of life.
Suddenly you're finding out the facts of life are all about you. You.
Oh man. I was watching some of the Highlander 2 the other day. Oh man. It's so
No. Stop right there. We cannot discuss Highlander 2 on this channel.
Oh, yeah? Oh, that's not a real movie. Yeah.
That doesn't exist. It never happened. There can be only.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there can only be. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because he's going all the way through the quickening. He's had the cheesy special effects. The Queen music is played. It's done. It's done.
Have you ever seen the edit with the scene with the when he finds the little girl in Germany? So there's a scene. I guess it's in the director's cut, but it was the international release that they didn't have in America. I didn't discover it until I was in my 20s and I was visiting Japan and I watched it over there. But there's this cut scene where you find out that, you know, that the blonde lady that lives with him, that works with him,
yeah,
he actually saved her in Nazi Germany as a child and raised her. And so there's a scene where he saves her and like you know, there's a Nazi, and he's like, oh, and he's like, hey, whatever you say, pal. You're the master race, and he shoots him. It's like,
how does that go again? One more time.
whatever you say, pal. You're the master race.
BALANC. Balance. Sean Connery was good in that. That was one of his last.
Yeah, it was great. If your head comes away from your neck, it's over.
Oh
yeah, that was good stuff, man.
It was a lot of fun. Let's. I haven't.
Okay, I will grant this one moment. You have to take all of your life force and focus it into a single moment. It's like the one thing I remember from that god awful movie.
Oh no! No. Once he's the highlight, once the quickenings happen, right? Once the Kurgan's dead, it's better to burn out than to fade away.
It's the best line.
My name is Candy.
Of course it is.
Highlander. I can't get that deep with that guy. Chris Lambert's freaky accent. Yeah, have you ever seen The Sicilian?
I have not.
There's another Christopher Lambert movie from about the same time. It's like about the mob in Sicily. I just remember this one line. I execute you in the name of God and Sicily. It's got the weirdest.
Oh.
Somebody was just saying he's got this freaky accent, but yeah, it's like.
What is he? Is he French Canadian?
I don't know.
What is he?
He just sounds very freaky.
After I get off, I'm going to have to go watch Baron Selmy again to get this, or Barrister Selmy to get this out of my. Yeah.
Barrister Selmy. Haggis. There can be only one. Do you expect me to die? Do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bob. I expect you to die. No.
Even now, Miller, I could cut through the five of you like a man cuts through cake. Love that singing so much.
Will you die naked, Knight?
I am a knight.
Hold on a second.
He's one of the best characters. One of the best characters.
Yeah. Not now. They're done. So me. No. There we go.
What is Pixel Trader saying here? In the year 2017, one corporation is building a fortress for the ultimate takeover. Your mind. Are you listening to him cackling?
Here.
Even now, I can cut through the five of you like carving a cake.
There you go. Did you hear
Yep. Even now.
it?
Even now, I could cut through you like
Carving a cake. Here you go, boy. Melt it down and add it to the others.
There's another. Who is Stannis's younger brother? Who briefly is briefly the king? I think it's Stannis's younger brother, or was it one of the?
Briefly.
Yeah. Who was the one who had the king after? Who was the king after Robert? Just briefly, or was vying to be the king?
You mean Renly?
Yeah, Renly.
Worst cast character in Game of Thrones.
Was that the one? Was that the one that they said? You know, the what do they call the throne? The throne of iron?
The Iron Throne. I mean
The Iron Throne.
Iron Throne.
Yeah, the Iron Throne.
Yeah.
Because I remember, I don't know if it's apocryphal. I don't know if it's in the books, but one of the characters says something to the effect of, "Too bad it's not the penis throne. They'd never get him off of it."
Yeah, what's funny is in the books, the homosexuality of Renly and Loras Tyrell is always, it's always innuendo. It's always rumor, right? It's never. And then when they showed it when they first showed him in the book, it's like Loras just goes right down on Renly, and you hear this slurping sound, and you're like, wow. Wow, take any.
Boy, I'm just
take any nuance.
I'm just glad I just put something in my mouth there. Thanks. I appreciate it.
In your endo for
Thanks for the imagery. Thanks for the imagery. Yeah.
Oh man. Sorry about that. It's funny
Slurp it.
when I was
Oh.
it's going the wrong direction.
Yeah. Oh.
He was helping him with a snake bite.
Oh.
Get the poison out. Get it out.
Yeah. Sorry, Miller. Maybe I would apply a tourniquet for you. That'd be about you just might have to die, brother. Sorry.
You're just happy, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I was talking to George about doing the Game of Thrones comics, because they had finally set up the book to be at Dynamite and through Random House, and he calls me up, and he's saying, well, I know you've talked about how you're a Christian and there's certain scenes you don't want to, there's certain stuff you're not going to draw nudity.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, there's ways, there's artistic ways to cover up nudity. There's, that's not going to be a problem. I'm not an idiot. I can figure that stuff out. And he said, well, and I know you have, this is why George is so great, because he's a very, very liberal guy. But he's like, I know you have personal issues with depicting homosexuality, but, Renly and there's homosexual characters in the book. And I'm like, I know that. I've read the books, but in the books, it's all very, like I said, it's all innuendo. It's rumor. You describe nothing like that. And he's like, yeah, but in the later books, there's going to be. And I'm like, I have read like 4,000 pages of your books or something. I'm like, look, this project's going to take 30 years. If I come to that bridge, I'll cross it like when I'm 60 or something. And so he's like, okay, well, I just wanted to let you know, because he wanted to make sure that I was okay with taking the project, because he's a really loyal guy, And so yeah, it's just funny that in the show they just went right down that rabbit hole.
How many covers have you done now?
I think I did 24 for Game of Thrones, and I just finished my 18th one for Clash of Kings. So 24 plus 18, is that 42? Am I wrong? 52? 24.
Is that, and that's Dynamite distributes that, right?
52.
52.
Wait, 20, 24? 34. 18, 8 plus 1.
18 plus 24 is 42.
42. I was right on one of my guesses. Sorry. Oh, hey, look, John Malin's here.
John
I'm
Malin.
just going to let Mike and Edwin run this show into the ground tonight. Thank you, John. That's very kind of you. Rabbit hole, the new back hole term.
And Edward already ate the butter. Yeah, yeah.
Edwin did eat the butter. You missed the butter, John. You missed the butter.
Well, Mr. Miller, I am going to have to go here pretty shortly. I have
That's
an
okay.
early
You
morning.
know what? I need to try to finish scripting this thing while it's still quiet in my house. So let's wrap this Aloha hour up. It's just a little over an hour.
Oh, where are the kids? Where are the kids? I was just thinking, like, where are all the little...
Well, my daughter's here, but the rest of them are at a movie. So
I was going to say, did you sell them for scientific experimentation, or... Sorry, kids. Mortgage payment's coming up. And
no, it was great because today most of the kids were off at school. JoJo was here, but he was being relatively quiet. So I got to write, and I got to write, and I got to write. So I got 39 pages dialogued. So I got, 9 to go, and then I'm going to send it to Roland to edit it. I'll send it to you, see if you have any comments. But I think I'm doing some pretty good work on it. So I'm really finding the voices pretty consistently. I think it's going to be good.
Very good.
And people, don't forget, Friday, if you support us, if you support LoneStarComic.com between now and Friday, well, between like 3 days ago on Friday, on Friday night's show, we will be giving away this beautiful piece of art that says Lone Star wants you to support Lone Star. So, LoneStarComic.com. Y'all know what it's about. And if you don't, go check out LoneStarComic.com. Thanks everybody for being here. I really appreciate every single one of you for showing up every night after night. How do we support you? We go to LoneStarComic.com, or you can go down into my description. There's a number of different ways. There's my web store, there are donations, there's my Amazon list, and please do sign up for my mailing list. If YouTube goes down again, there's going to have to be some way for me to contact you guys to get you to wherever I end up. Edwin Boyette, do your thing, chicken wing.
All right. So we get caught up in stuff. Yeah. You get immersed in the nonsense of life. You get immersed in the world screaming at you for attention, like little insignificant stuff all day long. Screaming at you for attention. Most of it matters very little, right? And we get distracted. We get distracted from what does matter. You know what matters is the people around you, the people that you can interact with, and your creator. Is who don't let all these distractions. Don't let all these distractions steal your joy. Don't let all these distractions steal your gratitude. Sometimes when we're not having the quality of life we want, when we're not getting an enjoyment out of life, it's not because we don't have enough things, we don't have enough stuff, we don't have enough gratitude for what we have. So when you're not feeling like you're at where you should be, where you believe you deserve to be, stop, take a moment, and find something to feel and show gratitude for and give thanks. And wherever you're at, whoever you are, treat the people around you with as much respect, kindness, and compassion that you can. So wherever you are, the world is a better place.
Except John Malin.
Yeah.
Punch him up your heels like dried dog feces.
Smacketh the Malin with your sandal, and then travel on to the next city, or however that proverb went.
Lone Star Squadron, aloha, and you are dismissed.